Hey everybody, this is Terry, and this is going to be my September 2025 Orchid Collection update. You did catch me doing a little bit of superficial cleaning up, tidying up, trying to mind my food, and that involves keeping debris. It looks like there's been some accidents continuously. So I'm just going to start with my update. So on this end, we are at some of my Brassavolas. It's a species that says encyclical fragrance, but it's Brassavola fragrance. And this happens to be gearing up. There's a spike right there. And over here, if you focus in a bit, you can see that looking out there. Okay, well, sorry I had a phone call that interrupted this, but there. Here's that inflorescence. See it right there. And that's fragrance. Here's my cucurata. Here's my cucurata. I am fucking... No! I am doing something. I'll get with you later.
He's out with his camera.
Sorry. Anyway, next to here is Rincolalia key lime stars, and that is crossed with BC Vitrinilla. And it just opened up, the flower did. First time flower here. Back up this way. This is not, yeah, that's Bill Worsley that I just recently took out of the pot and mounted on that piece of cork, as I did with this piece, which you can't really see, but it's one-eyed leopard, I think. Maybe one-eyed leopard spots crossed with Supita spots. Trying to save that. And up here is a Brassavola hybrid. It's crossed with Aurelia tenebrosa. BL Sweet Supreme. And this is the Nodosa grandiflora, just finished blooming. And here is tuberculata, just recently potted up in that basket. Not sure, I haven't really looked closely at it to see if there's any inflorescence or anything going on. And up here, this is my, that's not Petite Stars, but it is, yeah, that's David Sanders. But anyway, I've got, besides the Brassavolas here, I've got two Trichoglotis that I just got from Josh. And they're hanging out here next to my Isabilia virginalis. Trying to make sure this doesn't get too much sun. And then this is my purple cricket, Rhyncholalia purple cricket, that has had a couple of growths. Looks like one has blasted and that one's still doing good. It's recently just mounted onto that. And then up here I have a Stanhopea. I think this might be a Paphanhopea, to be honest. Okay, then we'll get into, actually I think this is another Brassavola species. This might just be key lime stars. But this year it's really seemed to, the growths are really seem to take on a more mature stance, which is a good thing. This is my Lochartia that I've been saying is getting set to put on a show. That won't be until the spring. And then I almost got rid of this, which is a Coreopia. Coreopia Martian, I think. But I actually had unpotted it, and then I noticed that it is actually putting finally in the growth. And so I just put it right back in the pot. Okay. Now let's start with my angricoids. This is Angraecum Longiscot that I just got. Burnham, variety Longiscot, crossed with Scotianum, and this is my Scotianum. Doing really well. Crossed with Scotianum, and this is my Scotianum. Doing really well. Got a couple new leaves growing. These are sort of Vanda, all of them are Vanda sort of type growing. And then as we go to the right, this is my cross of Orangus Pioneer. And I have been sort of trying to look for inflorescence because this is kind of the time that it puts it out. But the roots are, how fat and juicy they are, really show you how established this plant is. And I am just terrified to really just kind of peek in there because if I do find something, most likely it will be by accident and will destroy it. To the right of this, I think this is my Akatsukiana, and you can see the same sort of fat root tips as kind of similar to that, as opposed to oh my gosh, what is happening here? Okay, so that's not good. As opposed to, that would still be fat, but more like a skinny root tip. Seems like this, it's more of a maturity thing. When they're seedlings, the roots are thin and wiry. What I'm actually trying to say is that in my observation over the years, because these angricoids are very, very slow growing, and I'm sure that you have the same experience, that you just have a habit of looking at your orchids several times a day, every day of the year, and just to watch and see or look for that little bitty minute change from the last time. It's like digging for gold, but we do it. And so since I have had these particular plants acclimated to my care and culture that I provide, or have provided them so far successfully, I have noticed a distinct change in what I attribute to maturity, because it happens for other plants of or hybrids of the same genus, as I consider them family, which they are. So you can kind of compare their growth to maturity to bloom size, from a seedling to however stage you get that orchid, and compare it with another, especially when it is showing similar characteristics and similar growth patterns. So that's what I'm really talking about. It's not, I really don't take the time to edit, right? So, you know, I'm spontaneous, and I'm generally celebrating 420 when I'm out there. So you can understand I can be a little confused, and that explains why I generally am coughing at least once, a clip or a video. That explains that. I don't have a virus. I better not. I ain't getting no hip surgery. Anyway, to make a long story short, or a short story long, this is the Garden of the Gods, by the way, in my head. And the root tips tend to be the same, just capping off the end of the vellum, but as it matures and gets close to blooming size, then the roots get big and fat and plump, as opposed to roots similar to this, that are very wiry and small, and sort of, I would say, immature, as opposed to that is a big, thick, fat root tip, as opposed to sort of that one. But I'm digressing. That's a Kochkiana. This is another Kochkiana that has been doing okay. It's putting out, looks like it's putting out another leaf up there, which is great. That would be 2 leaves. The more leaves Angracoids put out, the more flower spikes. This is my Carnea, Arangus Carnea, and it's a very small, tiny miniature plant. And then there's my punctata that I lost. Not for sure why it wasn't spike. And as I said, this is my Scotianum. This here is a cross that I got from Afri Orchids, and it was in spike when I got it. And mounted it on there. Yeah, you can see there's a spike there. But the root tips have really love them. This is Spiculata times Elro. Rangus Tavanguni. And here, as I said, that's my Scotianum. Then here is my very coveted and rare Urangus Victorianum, which is Kochkiana crossed with Eurichum Bachellianum. These bloom from the underside of the plant, but had that quite a few years. These all are shade-loving, high humidity, maybe more suited for terrarium, definitely greenhouse, but high humidity. This is another Angracoid in Sistrorhynchos netani. And then I have an Arangus, I think this is biloba. I don't think this is articulata. And yeah, I'll just leave it like that. But it does have a articulatus tag in it, but you can see the color of the green of the new growth. It's doing really well. Up here is a Rhodosticta Alludio alba. For some reason, it's giving me new leaves and it bloomed, and we'll see how it does in the summertime. You can see those root tips right there. And then to the right of that, this is Orangus pseudopodium. No, not pseudopodium. It is Cryptopus, Arachnopus, I'm sorry. And there's another spike up here. And here's an inflorescence. Here's one. And you see the buds that are forming. And the axis. Here's another spike. And so on and so forth. Here's a bud. Sort of, this will be the second go around as far as blooming for this plant for me. Needs deep shade and lots of fungicides, as you can see by the dark spotting. Over here is my Orangus somalensis. And I just noticed this is all new. It's putting up a pup along with that new growth, and this is a new leaf from earlier in the season. So that's a wonderful thing because that potentially become a new plant once it roots. And over here, I don't know, this is a disaster that just happened, but this is Myrmecopola Neil McCormick. And I'm not sure what the deal is, but I'm gonna move it over here where it might get a bit more protection. It has been getting a bit cooler at night, which is unfortunate. And really, I'm doing this update, and then after I do this, I'm gonna be maybe starting to move some stuff in the greenhouse, which is unfortunate because it is just, like I said, it's not even October, just September beginning. Anyhow, this is another hybrid. This is Orangus Valley Isle. And it's just recently put on there, and you see it's got some roots coming out. So hopefully that will be established soon. Next to this is another little hybrid that's Equitans times Orangus leonis times Equitans. Not been on this piece of cork so long, but so far so good. Miniature. Here's my Kirkii that is barely hanging in there, and then to the, that is not what that is. I think this is no. I'll put the thing and put the name. What does it say it is? No, that is not a realistic, no. Yeah, I'll put the name in and figure it out for me as well. But there's a spike right there. And let's see here, okay. Below that, this is my Joyce Stewart, which, you know, I love so much. It's gonna have to be repotted soon, and I may actually mount it. They do well mounted. This is a hybrid as well. This is Angraecum, something gem, diamond gem, gem star. And it's doing well for me, giving me some of the leaves at the top, and the kikis are doing okay. And then above here, this is a Certorchis arcuata. And it's giving me another new leaf. And it did have a spike forming. It still does an inflorescence, but those take forever to develop. Now, back over this way, here is my Ranthes ORCHID. Very coveted species. And again, you see those root tips. They are green root tips. This is the new leaf for the season. And I'm really encouraged and hoping that I'll start to see some roots on the log. meaning that this piece has attached to there, or the plant. This is the last hurrah for Paphiopedilum while we're here. Sanders Pride, which is Stoniatum sanderianum. Best of both worlds, forming a new growth, which is good. And then this immature growth, which could possibly be blooming next year. All right, back to angricoids. Here is Aranthes neoperii. Sorry about the sun. Newly repotted in that basket. And then up here is Angraecum pectinatum, I think. Pectinatum, a miniature. There's Orangus modesta, which is recovering there. And then I have Orangus rotiana and Orangus Hildebrantii. And then this is my Orangus distincta. You see there's a big fat root as well. And this may actually be in spike, but it's camouflaged within all that moss. And then up here is a compactum, Angraecum compactum, and then there's an Elysiae that is really struggling. But this is not struggling up here. This is Orangus Eteranum, Valley Isle, just finished blooming. And it looks like that's going to be another blooming spike right there. But I guess it could be a aerial root. Loves putting out those aerial roots. Big full plant. Again, Vandaceous vining type growth. Then let's see, is maybe one or two more angricoids around here before we. This is an Angraecum infundibulare, doing excellent. See the new leaf coming out. Yay. Alright, is there anything else? This is doing pretty good. It's not an angricoid. This is Gastrochyllus obliquus. And again, it was on this plastic, and I have put a piece of cork to the back of it, and just waiting on the roots to snake back there. But in the process, it has put out lots and lots of roots and grows all on the mount, which is excellent. You can see it all in there. Good going. What else is of note here? This is my Gongora grossa, giving me that new growth there. Back over this way, here's Stanhopea histrionica. Gongora histrionica. That's a Stanhopea. It's Gongora, and it's in spike. As you see, unfortunately no flowers yet. This is a fragrant species. Let's see. Anything else that I'm missing before I move on down the road? Here's Bulbophyllum Wade, doing well as far as I'm concerned. Lots and lots of growths. And all, really, I've been staying on top of my repots, which is helping keep everything healthy. This is my Restreepia muscifera. Lots of those new growths. You can tell by the color, and you can see them coming up. And this blooms from the back. So, we will see. I'll show those off to you. Those like a lot of shade, and it likes to be, doesn't want to dry out. Stay small. Now down here are a few Phalaenopsis. This is Dendrobium or the stickton. It's got that spike here. And down here, this is my Cattleya chocolate drop Kodama. And it's getting ready to, it's got these sheaths here that have been developing. And this is a fall bloomer. Finally, my bulbophyllums here have been awakened. You see there's a new growth there. This is, what does it say, trichomoids. And then here's megalanthan. This one bloomed last year. There, you can see that growth right there, or that, whatever it will be. It's a movement. As well as my phalaenopsis that have been repotted. The corner cervi doing well. And there's another. And here is my falciparum. The blooming first round of it has ceased. Sorry, didn't really get to show off those peach flowers that often. This has stopped blooming too, my Epidendrum pupilescens. But this just started, just opened up a few days ago. And this is the Gigantea cross that I got in Italy. Gigantea crossed with Equestris. And it's got another flower speck over there. And this is a Galliandra that decided to start waking up. This might be his name. Well, if I find it, I'll put it in the description. Here is a little flower of Phalaenopsis venetii, as this is a venetii and something is trying to eat it. My other Galliandra, a green Williana, has flower left. And there's flower left on my Eranthes grandiflora. And that as well looks like it could be giving either another pup or another flower speck right there. But it's also giving me another leaf. This has just been repotted. And fading Cattleya and this smaller Fred Tompkins next to this hybrid that's just going to keep going on and on. Fragrant, fragrant, fragrant. It's Epidendrum CBRA times Pseudoepidendrum alba. Today it's what it is. About 50-some% humidity, 60, mid-60s temperature. What else? This is my Perenniae, Persavilla Perenniae species. Lots of new growths. This is more of a winter bloomer, early spring, but lots and lots of new growths. Right here is my Martiana, Persavilla Martiana, that I put on this tree fern ball. And then somewhere in the vicinity of here, right here, is Persavilla reginae. That's here on this stick. Tiny miniature. This right here is a Persavilla species. And the name escapes me at the moment, but I'll put it in the description. And I have another species right here, which is Persavilla acalis. The tag is right there. And this likes a lot of water, but I'm really looking and hoping for flowers because it's what I do. But instead of blooming from the normal spot, which would be the sheath, these bloom from in here, in this area in the rhizome, which is unique to this species. And you know I love unique. So I'm keeping my eye out. And actually I have another species. Is it here? No. It's right here. This is a cuculata, yellow form, and that tree fern. This is something else that I just noticed this week. This is, here's the tag, BC Golden Glory. And it was mounted to this piece of ceramic. And the stupid new growth went up through the back. But you see, look, it's in spike. Those are buds. Those are flower buds. So that'll be a first time bloom for me. Right here is what we're filling Fletcherianum, putting out and maturing those growths really nicely. Here is some of my epidendrums. This is Epidendrum cristatum or reniferum. Still waiting, hoping for new growth. Here is Densiflorum. And then here's my Coronatum down here that's struggling. Here is Nanum. Here, and then here is my Eolans. With those two growths coming up there. This is Epidendrum pupescens. That's a division that's mounted. And then there's a Ciliare right here. Another species that's giving lots of babies at the base. And then I have a couple of Epidendrum crosses. Actually, this might be another Ciliare. And this might, no, this is another Ciliare. Love my Epidendrums. Fading flower of Cattleya velutina, maybe? No. Pubescens. Pubescens. Here is my, is it Prostechia? Marina. This is last year's growth, matured, and then this is this year's. Recently just mounted on this, so we all, fingers crossed. And Cyclia megalantha albina, which is here. Few flowers left, unfortunately, not fragrant though. Here's my Selaginum flora, and this is Epidendrum floribundum. And as you can see, there's a flower spike, and there's another flower spike. That'll be the first time bloom for me. Here's my inner bulbon that has been repotted. Looking pretty good, huh? Put it over here. All right. Here are a couple of Angraecum magdalenas giving me new leaves here and there. Magdalena. This is my dying influential. I say that, but I am still hoping for the best. And then this, I don't know. It still has the appearance of roots, but it does look gone. This one has fared better. One of these are cormorants. I know they're Eburnum types, as is this one, which is doing really good. And Gracchum xerophyllum, which is growing another kiki, giving me more leaves from the main plant, doing good, as is my Gracchum vigliere, doing really well. Has given me a couple new leaves this year. This right here is basically a placata that I got recently from Josh and was mounted onto this. You see those roots are coming out. So it'll be established pretty soon. Anything else of note? Let's see. Looks like there might be a sheath coming on. And this is Epicattleya Black Comet. And I'm going to repot this plant today, which is Ganache M4 Catatante. It's got roots coming out, but the latest growth has that sheath that's brown, and I just want to get into some fresh media because it's time. There's my Dendrobium Alexandri. This is Ninobi Purple Splash. And then back here, right here, this is Cattleya BC Daffodil. BC Daffodil. This is my Boranjana, Cattleya Boranjana, matured that growth. And here is that newly acquired Dendrobium densiflora, discolor. And it has put on so much growth since I've had it. And you can see the roots are really doing well, as is this smaller cross. Those nice roots. And then that's a repot there of Hannah something. Hannah Lewis, it's an Epidendrum cross, EPLC. And then this Gigantea, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. Vandopsis. It's just hanging out with my level 5 Dendrobium speciosum. And here is newly repotted up crestwood and Gracchum crestwood, just in white rock. That's it. And getting highlight, as are these Drosophilas, Cattleya types, and Encyclias here that I'm pushing the light on to try and get them to bloom. This is my Bepi Phoenix Kona. And this is Walker Renter. As you can see, that's a new growth this season, big fat pseudobulb. And also here is my Trichocentrum stacyi that I need to give it some water. And of course, this is my crazy arachno that is acting stupid. But I have promise for a lot of everything. Let's not forget, this is Boothly Venice, and it has given me that sheath. Yay. So that'll be a couple years in a row that it'll bloom. And this is my BC Peach Bird that you see. I just put the net pot inside of another one, and this is just charcoal. But it is going to flourish because charcoal is a purifier. 1, 2, this is 3, 4 with the sheet. And then in there, that's 5, 6 new growths, as opposed to the normal 2. Okay, this is my Stanhopea Tigrina Predator Cross. No, it's not. It's Candida, I believe. And here's another Angraecum. This is my Angraecum Vici, which again, it's in. And because of the cooler weather, these do like it cooler. I'm going to bring it out and give it a bit more sun. Maybe I'll put it next to its cousin. Yeah. Okay, well, if you didn't film that, I'd move the Ichi over here by its cousin, Crestwood. And this is my other Dendrobium, my one den file. That's that Velvet Melody wine something. So that's probably about it, really. I'm going to show you my trichocentrums, and then that'll be it. This is Epidendrum parkinsoni now, and I do need to somehow get this into something else because it just needs to be repotted, and it's doing so well. Look at those growths all around the plant. Love it. Here's some more Angricoids that I can't forget. This is my Tridactyl bicaudata, still okay. And then I've got Angraecum compactum, another nice sized. There is Maria javanica that has to be repotted or mounted or something. And then next to this is my Sologeny multiflora, no, Pandorata, that I already did repot. Now, here's my Xerophyllum that I just got. Oh no, it's an Oxypedala, Encyclia Oxypedala. And this is Trichocentrum sprucei. All of those new growths. And here's a new growth. And then here is Cunene, I think. Trichocentrum Cunene, yeah. Not really doing so well this year. And then I have this Trichocentrum, Johnsonian times Josephine, giving me lots and lots of new growth. Nice roots. This is little, I'm not sure what this is. Maybe it's Encyclia Umboria. Up here is Docrilla cucumberinum, recently acquired. And this is doing really well, Dendrobium ciliatum. Gave me lots and lots and lots of new growths. This is another struggle. This is tuberculata, Drosophila tuberculata. But up here we have Trichocentrum what is it? Superbum, I believe. Superbum. That is maturing that growth, which is obviously a nice healthy growth. Hanging from here, this is Tigrina, Trichocentrum Tigrina, and this is Tigrina times Nanum, which is, there's a new growth coming off the side there. And then over here, this is my Trichocentrum Lancing. Here is Trichocentrum Cuquat that I just, these are the two latest matured pseudobulbs. Mule ears, as opposed to rat tail. What is this? Crazy arachno times perenniae. Nice growth this year on that. Here is another David Sander I know that's here. And then back over here, that I said this was a cuckolata, right? Crazy, yeah, cuckolata. And what am I looking for? Here's another angricoid that is right here. And I'm not sure what this is. This might be Lace Star. But I'm looking for, oh, it's Tomiko. And here's my Inaguensis, Encyclia Inaguensis that I just got. But I was looking for more of the perenniae. Oh, here we go. Here's another Crazy arachno times perenniae. Here. And then, what's this? Oh, that's another David Sanders here. And this one is Versavia Beautiful Aurora, which is David Sanders times the Digbiana Fiddlearia, Fiddle, whatever. Oh, and this is my Subulifloria species. Looks like it's trying to bloom here, right in there. Again, this is my Crazy arachno, and then here is Versavia Sylvia White, or Beppy Sylvia White. But there was another cross from SVO that was along here of Versavia, and now it's hiding from me. But oh well, it can hide. Yeah, I don't see it. I know it's just right in front of me. See, that's your. Okay, what's this? Little Stars times cuckolata. Nice growth there. And then that's one of those from Santa Barbara. Tuberculata times dig. Well, anyway, it's somewhere around here right now. This is a Dacarilla. Anyhow, things are looking up, but it is approaching time for me to be putting them inside, unfortunately, because of the temperatures that are dropping. It is September. As I said, this is the September 2025 update. And here are two of, I consider them brothers. This might need a repot. This is Path Heleni, and this is Path Henriana. And this is one of those Crochara George E. Here is a Laturia cross. This is Joyce Kelly, which is Pictobole crossed with Johnsonii. And here's my Johnsonii right here. Did I miss anything, folks? I don't think so. Here's my Rufa that I just got. Encyclia Rufa, variety yellow. So yeah, I think I'll just end it there. There's always going to be more to show. That is for sure. So anyway, stay tuned for more, folks. And thanks for watching. Enjoy your orchids.